Imagine not feeling welcome in your own city.
Can you imagine having to schedule every aspect of your life and not being able to be spontaneous?
Imagine being stuck in your house for weeks at a time while it snowed because they shoveled the snow into the curb cut or didn't shovel a wide enough path for you to get out. Imagine.
Manejando soportación que te haga tarde, pero va afectando tu trabajo.
Imagine if you had one train a day and it didn't show up and you had to wait 4 hours to find another train.
Imagine having to go from Lower Manhattan into Brooklyn on what would usually be a 30-minute ride, but instead going from Lower Manhattan into Queens, through the Bronx, back into Manhattan, through Staten Island to finally get to Brooklyn on what turns out to be a 3-hour journey.
All right. What is accessoride? Accessoride, or AAR, provides transportation for people who are unable to use public bus or subway service for some or all other trips. It offers a shared ride, door-to-door paratransit service. MTA New York City Transit administers an AAR, or accessoride.
Continue. You have reached Accessoride. Conversations with Accessoride personnel are recorded and may be monitored. For eligibility, appeals, certification, or application questions, please press 1. To request a trip, please press 2. To change a trip, please press 3. To cancel a future trip, please press 4. For same-day trip problems, please press 5. To repeat this announcement, please press 0. To request a trip, please press 2. Thank you for calling New York City Transit. Your call is very important to us. All of our agents are currently assisting other customers. Please hold and your call will be answered in the order it was received. Thank you for calling New York City Transit. Your call is very important to us. All of our agents are currently assisting other customers. Please hold and your call will be answered in the order it was received.
On the day of your trip, please have your exact fare and ID card ready at the time of your pickup. Be ready to travel at your scheduled pickup time and be prepared to wait up to 30 minutes after that time. The 30-minute waiting period begins at your scheduled pickup time and ends 30 minutes later. Accessoride vehicles arriving during this 30-minute waiting period are considered on time.
Well, we got there a whole 10 minutes early, and we waited 45 minutes before we called. And when we called, the dispatcher asked me all the information that she needed, and she put me on hold. And when she came back, she said that the driver said he had already been there. Then they told me to give them my cell phone number, and they would call me back in 15 minutes.
Well, after the 15 minutes passed by, did they call you back?
No, they didn't.
What happened next?
So I called them back. And they told me that they didn't resolve the issue as of yet, and they would call me back in 25 minutes.
Next.
I called them back, and they said that they was going to be sending a rescue driver out to pick me up within 25 minutes, and for me to go to the Accessory bus stop on 34th Street.
Okay, well, after those 25 minutes passed by, did the rescue vehicle come?
No,
Well, then what happened?
I called them back, and they claimed that that driver was there too, and I wasn't.
As well, what happened then?
I called her back, and she said that the driver had already been there, and he went to the 8th Avenue stop. Then, after waiting all that time, I called her back again. She said to me, "Hold on." She came back and she said, "We are going to send another ride out for you. Where are you?" I said, "I'm at the 34th Street bus stop like you told me to be." She said, "Well, then go back in front of the 8th Avenue entrance of Penn Station, and somebody should be there soon." And I was freezing cold, very uncomfortable. I was tired, I was hungry. So then I went back and I waited there, and I waited a couple of more minutes, and I called her back. She said to me, "Hold on." While she had me on hold, I was also calling my mother, my brother, my grandmother, and they all called them too. Then she said, "Give me a few minutes and I'll call you back." I said, "Okay, thank you." She called me back, and she said to me, "Do you see a driver there?" I said, "No, there's no driver in sight." So she said, "Okay, I'll call you back." I hung up, and I called my brother again, and I said to my brother, "Did you get a hold of them?" He said, "Yeah, I'm on the phone with them right now." Then I called my grandmother on my other line, and I said, "Grandma, did you get a hold of Accessory?" She said, "Yeah, I'm on the phone with them now." Then I called my mother, and I said, "Mommy, did you get a hold of Accessory?" She said, "Yeah, I'm on the phone with them now." By the time I called the dispatcher back, she had 7 different people on the line with her about me getting home, and she was very annoyed. She said to me, "I have 7 different people on the phone, all because of you. How many calls are you going to have people making to me? There's nothing I can do until they decide to send a driver out for you." She doesn't have a child or children with a disability, and she was inside of her office nice and warm. So, of course, she didn't understand how I felt. Of course, she didn't know how it was to be outside for 5 hours with no food and no place to go to the bathroom.
Story.
Then the driver finally pulled up and asked me, "Was my name Varna?" I said, "Yes, finally, I want to go home."
Where are you going to?
NYU Kimmel Center. And the address is 60 Washington Square South, between LaGuardia and Thompson Street.
Okay, this address you're giving, 60 Washington Square South. Within Manhattan, there is no Washington Square South. We have Washington Square East, North, or West. So tell me, what do you think it is? Okay, you're going to need to get that phone number because, again, I am trying to bring up the coordinates on this address, and I know you are insisting that it's 60 Washington Square South. However, we are not getting a validation on this address.